Okay, so the last two episodes of Beyond the Villa. Um, and I'm gonna try to get through this because I'm glad these are the last two episodes. But it started off with them going to Lake Tahoe and Brian coming in to greet everyone, and Maya's backing up like whoa, and he said, "What's wrong? You got on makeup or something? You don't want me to mess up your makeup?" She's like, "No, relationship and boundaries." And I'm like, "Okay, Amaya." And so this was the greeting. And so producers, chose to show 3 weeks ago the greeting, and she had no problem with it. She actually did give him a peck on the kind of little peck on the cheek too. So he was confused, and he went back to when they were in the villa, and he was explaining to people who were having a problem with Amaya calling people sweetie and the cultural aspect of it. And he said it was kind of a slap in the face for her to be acting like that after everything they went through in the summer. Iris and Hannah talking junk, and Hannah saying how she doesn't really have time for friends, or she's exhausted trying to make friends with everybody. Bella hears it and says her feelings were hurt. My thing is, I know they have to make a show, and Bella does seem genuinely hurt by this, but it's too much trying too hard to be friends with people that don't want to be friends with you. I just don't get it. But I know, and also, I know they're making a show, but I don't know, she's not, I don't know. Then there's the awkward dinner. Things were really awkward with Coco and Chris. Coco was asking him if he wanted something. I forgot what it was, and he was like, no, but it was just awkward. Adriana? Adriana. Anyway, she said, Andreina that's it. But she was saying how things are awkward, and she wants to know why, because she meant to say she's nosy, but she said no, I'm noisy. I think she is so funny. I like her. Then Amaya got all weird again and was talking about not dealing with people, and she was referring to Brian, like if she doesn't, she's like, if I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. Okay, Amaya. You know what I'm finding here are the people that you liked or loved in the villa. Outside of the villa, they're not so likable. So most of them went out. Some of the guys stayed home, like Brian, Chris, and who was the other one that stayed? Brian, Chris, and Austin stayed home, and they were like, because the vibes were weird, so I'm not going out, which that was smart. This whole Brian and Andreina thing is weird because it seems like he's been flirting with her off camera, and she said it's like he's trying to save his reputation, which that's a big old red flag. Again, people you liked in the villa are not so likable outside of the villa, because Jeremiah is not really that likable. I think when he was with Huda, it just seemed like he was, because it was a lesser of two evils. Not saying he's on her level, but I mean, maybe. Amaya was trying to explain to TJ what was why she reacted to Brian like that. You could tell he didn't want to be in the situation, because he said to her, Brian was confused because of you did hug and give him a kiss or whatever, or like a greeting, and Palm Springs, and she swears she didn't. So I can't wait for. Well, I'm sure she's seen it back by now, but girl. And then she started crying. I think there needs to be a lot less crying, and a lot less Botox. She didn't even need it, but she made a comment about her having Botox, and you can see it, but she didn't need it. This unnecessary conversation with Iris pretending to care about what happened with Coco and Chris at the club, with Chris being at the club, and that wasn't even that big of a deal. They're really trying to make something out of nothing. And then some truck goes by, and they're like, "I pick Clark," and then they're like, "We got to get out of here. How did they know we were here?" Okay, weirdness. Like Jeremiah being weird about the cameras catching him, like looking like he's about to kiss Andreina. I don't think. Yeah, Jeremiah's a big red flag in this situation for her. If because she made the comment that she thinks he's more concerned about his reputation. Okay. And also, I feel like Jeremiah started hanging out with the girls because he felt like the girls would be fan favorites. And everything about what's going on with Jeremiah on here is a red flag. He probably, it would have done him better to not even do this show. The girls talking about feeling left out again. I mean, Taylor surprises Clark. Again, people, well, Taylor was cool, but people who, or not Taylor, but Clark was cool, but people who you didn't care too much for in the villa, it's like the opposite. Like, not that I'm a fan of Taylor's, but I didn't mind him in this. Granted, he wasn't in it that much, but Iris and Bella talk and they got nowhere. Basically, they agreed to disagree because Bella doesn't understand why Iris thinks she shouldn't talk to Pepe or whatever when Iris wasn't really treating her like a friend anyway. But again, I do get why they people there have a problem with Bella kind of inserting herself. But I do kind of think, I mean, some of it you kind of think maybe it's for the cameras, but it does seem like that's just the type of person she is. But they agreed to disagree because Iris is like not budget, and neither is Bella, which is I'm glad she stood her ground. So they were like they left this conversation with that we agree to disagree. So they end up doing this game where you pick a game and then you imitate one of the other castmates. And so when who went first? I can't remember who went first, but when it was time for Hannah to get up and go, she was Grayson, and she was like, I'm a pageant queen and I got blonde hair. And it was just weird. Another weird thing was this scene with Coco and Chris, and he was like, she was doing something with her legs, and he was like, stop, stop. And she was like, am I tickling you? And he was like, yeah. It was just weird, but I think they just wanted to show that they weren't really getting along like they were earlier. So after Hannah, which I felt like the beginning of the season, it was like the Hannah and Iris show, and or either Hannah and Iris were trying to make it like it was their show. But again, two people who you could tolerate but are very unlikable, Hannah and Iris, and also Amaya, in my opinion. So anyway, after she did her imitation of Grayson, it was time for Grayson to get up. So it was Grayson and Charlie got up, and then they were about to start, and Hannah goes, "Grayson, are you good? Are you good?" And Grayson was being weird too, though. I gotta say, like Hannah, that was out of nowhere, and Grayson was confused. Like, what do you mean? Am I good? Yeah, I'm good. I get that, but I feel like she made it even more awkward. Grayson did because then she was like, what? First, she was confused that she was talking to her because it came out of nowhere. So I get that. But then afterwards, she pulled Coco and or not Coco and Hannah, but Coco and Bella, and she was like, well, Charlie did say now it's weird. It's weird, and so they were like, no, go ahead, just do it. Let's just have fun. And Grayson was like, now, I mean, I kind of don't want to do it anymore because it's weird because Hannah had to insert herself for some reason. I think Hannah wanted to annoy or hurt Grayson's feelings by the way she imitated her, but it didn't land. So then she had to make it a moment and was like, Grayson, are you good? Are you good? So they ended up not doing the skit, and Grayson asked Coco and Hannah, or not, asked Coco and Bella to go downstairs with her for a minute. So that was weird too. She was like, "Can we have a break?" Because I would have been like, "Forget Hannah." I would have kept on going, but I mean, everybody's different, I guess. So they didn't do it, and the three girls went down in the basement, and I think that was the end of that episode. Like they got started.